Hey guys, Symmetry here with a new type of video for the channel, a first impressions or a 3-hour thoughts sort of video, where essentially I'm going to give you my thoughts after roughly the 3-hour mark of a game or thereabouts that will likely then receive the 100% review treatment like the recent Cyberpunk review. And what better way to kickstart this series than the remake for Dead Space, given that we're in the Halloween spooky season, and this game recently released on PS Plus. Now, Dead Space Remake obviously is a remake of a game from, I believe, 2007. Dead Space, one of my favorite games of all time, definitely one of my favorite horror games, and the remake is just as good. Now, I'll be honest, I have played this previously, however, I am going back to get that 100%, add that to the account, get the juicy platinum trophy, and dive in. So let's talk about the story of this one first, or at least the sort of introduction to the game. We play as Isaac, who is part of the crew of the Kellion. This is a crew of 5 people off the top of my head, who is sent out to the USG Ishimura, which is a planet cracking ship, to do some repairs and maintenance. Now, planet cracking is something that humanity needs at this point in time. Essentially, Earth has run out of resources, so we've created these great big mining vessels that go out to planets where a colony is put down on the planet and preps the site to essentially pull out a giant portion of the planet that'll then be mined for various different resources. They arrive to find that the Ishimura essentially is lights out. It looks like a ghost ship from a distance, and upon trying to land, their ship is damaged, and they are promptly attacked by necromorphs, where several of the members of the team are picked off, and we are separated from the survivors. Now, the atmosphere in this game is fantastic. It is absolutely dripping with horror. It's fantastic. Think like The Thing meets Alien, the original Alien, and you essentially have the atmosphere here. It's probably one of my favorite settings in all of gaming. I think this game is one that is really just a pinnacle of horror. I think the audio is fantastic. This is a perfect example of a game where I just listen to the audio in the game. So typically what I do when I play games is I might have a podcast on, or like a YouTube video on while I'm actually playing. Not the case with this game. This game has me absolutely hooked in, and I think it is fantastic. The gameplay is a lot of fun too. Essentially, you have a arsenal of various different weapons that are all quite unique. A lot of them are sort of weapons that have been forged out of various different mining equipment that you can use to take out the enemies. The enemies, of course, being the necromorphs. And the necromorphs are actually a very interesting sort of enemy. They are essentially mutated from the bodies of humans. Think zombies, but with very long limbs and various different sort of growths and stuff coming out of them, and there's various different forms. Some of them are more lizard-like. You've got little baby ones with tentacles, and then you have the regular types. And they're quite an interesting concept in how you deal with them. Most games have you aiming for headshots, which will deal the maximum damage. Here, a headshot really doesn't do anything. They're just going to keep coming at you. So you have to do things such as take out their limbs. So there's quite a balance of how you deal with the enemies. You've got to take them out. You're taking limbs off. They're still coming at you. Taking off simply a leg is not going to really do too much. You're going to have to take off 2 legs and an arm. And then you have the other side of things, which is the resource management. And I really like this side of things. So when you kill an enemy, if you stomp them, which is another mechanic of itself, where you stamp them, which breaks the corpse, you have good odds that you're going to receive a bit of loot. Now, this loot is going to be directly tied to the gun in your inventory. If you only have one gun, then that is the gun that you are exclusively going to receive ammo from enemies that you kill. Whereas if you have several guns, you are going to receive several different types of ammo. Now, some of these ammo have different sort of currency prices attached to them, which is then linked to the shop. Now, the shop is somewhere where you can buy things such as more ammo, or first aid kits, or stasis kits. And so there is this sort of balance of, okay, well, I have 3 stacks of ammo and I desperately need a health kit. Do I sell 2 of my stacks of ammo and bank on me being able to land those limb shots to buy the health that I need? Or do I bank on me being able to survive a little bit longer, kill a few more enemies to get enough ammo to then sell to take that medkit that I desperately need. And this trade-off is really, really interesting. It's probably one of my favorite aspects of the game, actually. I also like the upgrade system in this game. So around the map, you're going to find nodes, and nodes are used to directly upgrade your character and your weapons through like a craft bench, like a working bench sort of thing. Through here, you can upgrade things such as your damage, your reload speed, and a lot of it is also cosmetic. You're going to see that Isaac's suit that he's wearing, which is originally just a simple engineer's suit because he's not a soldier at the end of the day, he's just a simple space engineer, is going to receive more upgrades, more sort of armor reinforcements. He's getting some plates, and you're going to receive damage reduction perks and things like that, which then lead to your survivability being increased, which is fantastic. Now, the next thing I want to talk about here is how I plan to earn the trophies. Dead Space has quite a few trophies here. To get the platinum, you're going to be going through about 48 trophies. At a minimum, you're going to have to do 2 playthroughs. There are collectibles that are required for trophies that are exclusive purely to New Game Plus. Now, there is one trophy tied to difficulty. Actually, no, there are several trophies tied to difficulty. However, one of them is directly tied to impossible mode. Impossible mode is essentially hard difficulty. However, you only have one save, and if you die, you lose that save, which is interesting. It's definitely leads to some sort of close moments, some difficult situations. I would definitely recommend using the cloud saves if you have access to those. Now, my plan is to essentially play through impossible mode first. I do have some experience with this game. Obviously, I've played the original and I have played the remake to an extent. I'm also going to be going for the trophy that is for only using the plasma cutter first, which essentially means that all other weapons in the game are going to be completely ignored out of the bat, and I'll be doing their sort of trophies tied to them exclusively in the easy run mode of the second playthrough. I'll also be going for as many data logs as possible. Data logs are collectibles that sort of provide a bit of lore insight. Some of them are audio, some of them are text-based, and they sort of talk about how the ship was taken over by the necromorphs. Once I have earned the impossible mode trophy, one of the beautiful things about this is you unlock the finger guns, which are essentially a one-shot kill or a near one-shot kill on pretty much enemy in the game, where Isaac has a foam gun and he just points it at enemies and goes bang, 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 and they all die, which makes the second playthrough considerably faster to run through, because a playthrough of this game is probably about 10 to 12 hours, so you're probably looking at about 24 to 30 hours for the platinum itself. And I think that this is probably the easiest way to go for me in terms of being able to get that 100% review out as soon as possible. I can go in, I can run through the game on impossible, sort of be careful, maximize how I'm using my resources. There'll probably be a lot of selling plasma to upgrade my weapons as soon as possible that I can then use for the maxed out trophy, which I'll likely earn in the second playthrough. Maxed out is for upgrading all weapons and armor to the full stack of each. Luckily, this does carry over playthroughs, so I'll be able to do as much as I can in the impossible playthrough, and then I'll run through the second playthrough to sort of clean that up, probably about the midway point. From there, I'll start the second playthrough on the easiest difficulty, go for all of the trophies related to different weapons, such as the assault rifle, get the required kills for that, move back over to the finger guns, and just essentially steamroll the rest of my way through to that precious platinum. In terms of what I've done so far for the 3 hours, I will say I did encounter a bug that about the 3 hour mark, actually, that meant that I had to restart my game, which is very, very painful. In Chapter 3, you've got to essentially reroute fuel on the ship, and I encountered a bug where if you do it in a certain order, the quest log just doesn't update, and I was left to just kind of shit out of luck. I wasn't able to proceed and I had to start the game again. I will say a lot of stuff online does warn you about this. I just wasn't looking it up at the time. You need to start with the south side before moving to the north side, or you do have quite a high chance of it bugging out. Bear in mind that it can bug out regardless of if you start on the south side or not. I should definitely give you that heads up. And because I'm doing impossible mode and I only have that one save, I did have to restart the game. I've gotten to that point again, so technically my first impressions is 6 hours, 3 hours times 2 of the exact same content. And I will say, despite that setback being very frustrating, I have enjoyed that period of time twice quite a bit. It is fantastic. So I'm going to get back to platinuming this game now, and I'll let you know what I think in the upcoming 100% review. I miss you already. Goodbye.